Welcome back to Boruto and Review. This is episode 62, and this is a review of the 62nd episode of Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. And this episode is called the Akatsuki Invasion. Yeah, pretty much this is just the two villains, the the trio entourage pretty much invades the shooting exams, pretty much pick up exactly where the last episode left off. And a lot of the stuff seen in this episode is pulled directly from the film with some original footage. I mean, in the case of what Naruto was up to, mostly it's exactly the same, mostly. And Boruto, from what I can tell, mostly the same dialogue for him. A lot of characters like seeing Sakura punching up, smashing the thing, and see Tamri there using her fan, everybody doing all their stuff, saving all the people. Um, Boruto gets a few new lines that are not in the film, as far as I can. Even Naruto gets a few new lines, like talking about the resurrection of the Divine Tree, because in the Boruto film, you don't. It's like the Divine Tree is never brought up until you see the thing, like toward the end of the movie. Here, they actually make it like, okay, the plan is to pretty much fulfill what Kakage was sent here to do. Okay, fine, whatever. And of course, you also have this Meatskate tries to get involved, but the new villain, who was actually supposed to be part of the film, I don't remember the guy's name now. I know he's not an original character. He's a character created by Kishimoto that was going to be in the film, but was cut due to time constraints. He takes got Meatskate, takes some of his jutsu because he's about to go to Sage 1 anyways, and Meatskate is knocked out. He tries to go Sage 1, but he's knocked out, and he stays knocked out for pretty much the whole episode. We also see Gar and Chotru go after the villain, and they fight for a pretty good amount of the episode because you don't see these two fight in the movie until the final fight of the actual film itself. Here, you see them get a good amount of fighting, and it seems like the only one of the Kage who don't do anything is the Tazakage. She does nothing. The Razakage is seen briefly holding up a wall, and that's it. I mean, it's like, okay, you have the Tazakage there, but she doesn't do anything at all. I'm like, really? Why can't she do anything? It's really bizarre. And pretty much, this is probably like the only episode of the whole series that shows up pretty much most of the cast of the entire franchise at this point. The only people who do not show up in this episode who has appeared frequently in the whole series has been, well, Shinra does not show up in this episode. Yeah, he's completely absent. Uh, as far as I can tell, Tenten does briefly show up. My guy shows up briefly. Kakashi finally says a line after appearing cameos for the past two episodes. Yeah, he finally says something. The Team Konohamaru, they get a chance to do something. The original version of them, not the current version, the original one. So of course, Mogi doesn't do anything. She just seems standing around. Udon does nothing. Yeah, Konohamaru is seen briefly escort people out, and probably one of the best things seen in the series is seeing Lord Heshi, Hinata's father. This is probably the first time I've seen this guy physically appear in the series since episode 9. Yeah, it's been that long since I've seen this guy. It only had been a good 12 episodes since I last seen her, so her wasn't too long. But I would say the one character I was very shocked to see make an appearance, even for a brief cameo, was Lord Heshi, because it had been a good, like, 53 episodes since his last physical appearance. And it's great to see the guy. Even only see him briefly. Mostly he's seeing when the whole destruction of the shooting exam stadium, which mostly that happens in the film as well. And of course, Momoshiki basically laughing maniacally and destroying the stadium and using a gigantic tail-based bomb to try to destroy the whole area in order to get his hands on Naruto. And of course, Naruto goes his Kyuubi form. Takes him a little while though, but he eventually does. He even says this line from the film, like, he asks Kurama, like, "Are you out of shape?" He's like, "Nope." And he just does the whole hand thing together and just hand sign. Um, one of my favorite moments of this episode is seeing something reminiscent of what happened during the fourth Ninja War, when Naruto and Sasuke were fighting Mandara by having Kurama in that spirit form combined with Shino, combined form, which is reminiscent of what happened. If anybody saw that little scene, that flashback scene of when you had the first Hokage and Mandara fight, and that particular thing was seen when Mandara using Shino to cover up Kurama when he was basically in regular form, not in spirit form that he's normally seen in. This is the second time in the franchise Sasuke and Naruto done that. I thought that was great, even though it's only brief, but it was great to see the thing again. I think the reason why they did it is probably for fan service. But if you didn't watch the original anime, like if you didn't watch Naruto Shippuden season 20, you would not. You're probably thinking, okay, it seemed like these two had done before, but yeah. But according to Sasuke's line from the original episode, he says, "This has happened before. Apparently, somehow that Sasuke was a student of Hidden Leaf history, and he probably knew about this, probably because it was written down by the first Hokage during his legendary battle he had with Mandara about, I think it was almost 100 years before the events of the series. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is one really good action-packed episode. I like the fact that um, Sakura, Ino, and Tamari get a chance to do a little bit in this episode. At least they're not holding up a wall. They're seeing saving people, which is nice. Shiki wants to fight, but Gar stops him. He says, "You're not strong enough to face against him. Why don't you use your power to evacuate people?" And Shiki reluctantly agrees, and he goes evacuate people. And pretty much all the rest of the young, the rookies, the Genin, the one who all participate in the shooting exam, they all go help out and rescue people, which at least gives something to do. Yep. Shikahamaru, great to see this guy get a chance to get on the action, because this is probably the first time since the Byakuya gang arc that he's actually done anything aside from standing around giving dialogue. Because, well, even though yes, it's mostly about their kids, I'm glad the fact they get a chance to use the shut up paralysis juice. This is probably, off the top of my head, I think this is like the third time in the series he's ever used this thing. The first time he used it on Boruto when he was, well, acting like an idiot and trying to vandalize the Hokage. That was the first time he did it. The second time is when he helped Inojin and Chocho take on members of the Byakuya gang. And this is the third time in the series he's actually done it. I mean, yes, he did a lot in the original, both in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, but it's always great to see it. It's, even though, yes, you don't get a chance to hear him to say the words, but it's always a great shock to see, and it's been a good period of time since the last time it showed up, so it's great the fact they got a chance to do something. I mean, if you want to think of one other character aside from Shino who didn't make a physical appearance in this episode, Sai was another character. He hasn't appeared in quite a while, actually. Yeah. Excuse me. I think the last time he appeared was in the episode when Himari, who actually did appear in this episode, she's appeared in almost the entire arc so far because she was in the film, so obviously. And he is absent. He's been absent for a good, like, I'd say about 20 episodes. He's been gone for quite a while. I think the last time I physically saw him was, I think it was just before the new generation kids were promoting from student to Genin. That was last official time they got a chance to see him. But it's been a good while. I'm like, where the heck is Sai? Yeah, he's probably like one of like 3 characters from the previous generation who did not physically appear in this episode, and I don't know what the heck he's even up to. It looked like Hanada at the end of the episode. Looked like she was going to do something, but that's probably going to be handled off screen, because in the film it looked like she was going to take on Momoshiki and his goons, but she was taken out easily off screen. Hopefully they actually bother to show that fight, because that would have been interesting to see, because in the film they never showed this fight at all. I don't know why, because I think as of right now, because of this arc, That film is deemed non-canon, though they've taken elements from that film, and you gotta thank that film for giving the show probably some footage to use. hmm But I would say a good about 80% of the action in this episode is pulled directly from the actual film itself. I would say 80%, about 20% is all original footage. I don't have a really big problem with that, not at all. But it looks like next episode, which is called Sasuke's Secret Weapon, which is simply him, Baruto, the Kazakage, the Mazakage, the Tazakage, and the Raikage. These about 6 people go rescue Naruto. I don't know if anybody else is going to go with because in the film it was just Sasuke, Baruto, and the other 4 Kage going to rescue Naruto. Yeah, I have been told of what happened to Killer B in the post-credit scene for the Naruto. I haven't seen the post-credit scene because I thought I didn't have one. It was the one film I actually thought there was no post-credit scene when it comes to this particular film. Absolutely all Naruto films. I might get a chance to look at it later at a later point. But yeah, this was one fantastic episode. And I do recommend it, but I do recommend you watch from the beginning. If you're going to jump into the series, this particular one, start from episode 1. Though you had to sit through a lot of crap, but some crappy episodes, but there's some decent episodes here and there. Like the Cider arc is really good. The hit and miss stuff is amazing. Uh, some of the standalone episodes are really, really good. Even though, yes, they're kind of fillerish, but they are good. They're quite enjoyable to sit through. hmm I mean, yes, you got some. I mean, the first arc of the series takes in the first 14 episodes, which is the Ghost arc. It's a pretty decent arc. It's a good plot device that when they started out the series, and I am really enjoying watching the series. I can't wait for this week's episode. Now, this is probably by far the latest I've actually done this particular review because originally these were airing on Wednesdays. I was doing these reviews Wednesdays, and I moved to Thursday. But due to the whole thing of me moving, that's what delayed this until today. That's practically the only reason why I delayed it today. I was planning a few more videos today, but because of time, that can't happen. You can probably expect those reviews to come tomorrow. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned next week for episode 63, Sasuke's Secret Weapon. Okay? But until I see you all in the next episode, bye.